Hey guys, it's Angelo here from Team Spider. Today I'm just going to show you how to set up your Essentials config, which is a Minecraft plugin using Bucket. There will be links to just about everything, including how to get this plugin. I did make a tutorial on how to make the server, how to install plugins, so if you need any of that, there'll be annotations there. Hopefully I'll explain all this to the best of my ability as well. It is, I believe, like 600 something lines. Yep, 6 something. Anyway, so it'll take a couple minutes, but if you bear with me, we can get this set up so your server can run as smoothly and as best as possible. So this is the default config file. I just downloaded this from the internet because mine's already edited. So we can skip the top. We'll just go right to the Essentials Global. And this is just what section it's going to be under. So the color of the op's name, so when you do /op and then the player's name, it usually changes to a weird red color. I actually just leave that blank because I like setting it to, I use Group Manager, so I have specific colors in Group Manager. So if I'm an admin, I don't want to have an op color. So I set that to blank, but you can set that to whatever number. I'll put a link in the description and I'll show you each color for each number or letter. So when you do /nick, and if my username is SteamEater, so I do /nick steam or something, or I put Jello or Team Spider or something. Right before that is going to be this little squiggly line, so everyone knows, oh, that's not his real username. You can leave this here if you leave everyone the ability to change their name. But if it's just going to be for ops and such, I leave it blank. So keep this as true, even if you're going to use this as changing colors, especially if you're going to have Group Manager in it, leave it true. If you're going to have anything that has specific name changing abilities, put this to false. So teleport cooldown, this means if I do the command /home, I have to wait, in this case, 0 seconds before I can do /home again. If you're doing something like, factions, you may want to put this up because, you don't want people going like from their home to someone's house, griefing, and home, and then all this different stuff. Teleport delay is also something, especially for PvP. You don't want someone like in the middle of a fight and just do, teleport back home. So you can set this to like 4, and what that does is that you can't move or get attacked within that time. Otherwise, it'll reset the time. You have to enter the command again. I like leaving that blank because it pisses a lot of people off, more than you'd think. So this is actually a little confusing because it doesn't exactly work very well. This is when you teleport something, you have to wait 4 seconds before you can be attacked or attack. The thing is, from my experience, you can immediately be getting damage, but I think that's because I'm adding plugins in that allow you to be attacked. I think with just Essentials, though, it remains 4 seconds in vulnerability. This is, I don't see why they put this in here, especially if you're going to have heal only admin abilities, and if so, you can leave that at 0, because obviously if admins want to be healing themselves, they can. Item spawn blacklist. This is if you want to be really uptight and not let TNT, lava buckets, water buckets, really, if you're really weird like that. And that's just so people can't spawn themselves those items. I leave that blank still because I like people getting whatever items they want, and also only admins can use /i and /give. I set this to false, so we don't need to go over this. This is, so if you have Group Manager, you have to do like, oh, default players have the permission to spawn this item, but once again, I have that only for admins, I leave that blank. If you were going to do spawn mob zombie, right now you can only do 10. I set that to 100. There we are. Sorry, my numlock was off. I set that to 100 just because I like spawning a lot of mobs. Warn on smite, I set this to false, and that means when I do slash lightning in a player, I don't want them knowing I did that, even though I'm usually the owner. I just like it, so they're like, oh, who did that? Overridden commands, I leave that blank because I don't want to override any commands really, because using group manager, of course. I've said that so many times, I'm probably going to make a tutorial on that, but it restricts commands. This is going to be for talking. You can message people specifically, reply right to them. You can mail people if they're offline or something. You can whisper to a certain group of people. There's a lot of things like that. Leave this blank. You don't want to erase anything here because, especially if you're using Group Manager, you want all these enabled. Otherwise, sometimes, you can't suicide, but sometimes you need to suicide. It just happens like that. Kits. Well, kits allow you to do /kit tools, dtools. Oh, I didn't know that. Or I guess Nosh now. But what it does is it gives you everything here. So if I do /kit tools, it'll give me, I think this is all stone. It'll give me stone pickaxe, stone shovel, stone sword, and all that. And maybe hoe. I don't think so though. And then diamond, it would be diamond tool, or D tools is diamond tools. I'll have to check these out. I actually have no idea. Like I said, I downloaded it from the internet, so they just must have just added that. So we're going to continue down. Enable signs. You want to enable all of these. So if you wanted to, you could have people warping out. You could have people buying stuff from stores, selling stuff from stores, disposing of useless things, getting kits, enchanting their items for a certain price, getting info on stuff, repairing their items, setting time to day. And you might think, oh, I don't want these activated. I don't want someone setting the weather to rain all the time. First of all, you have to set a sign that says in brackets weather, and then under it you do like sun, rain, storm, and everything. You can also set a price under that, which will enable you to go like, oh, if you want to set it to rain, it will be $400, and that would be an Essentials Eco. Sign used per second. This is if you have like 50 stacks of cobble and you want to sell it. You can only click the sign 4 times a second, which, unless you're like totally spamming, that should be fine. I do set it to 6 though, because it's just nice to set it to 6. This is just when it backs it up. Leave that alone. Per warp permission means if there's a sign that says warp this, you would have to do you'd have to enable in Group Manager each person to do, oh, this person can warp to blank and warp to blank, which is really annoying, so I leave it to all. This list command just lists, like when you hit tab, who's online. Why you do list or who would mean, like, if you want to see who is AFK, who is hidden, all that stuff. Keep that false. It's just going to put a lot more code into the console, and usually you don't want that unless you have a lot of RAM going towards it. Remove God mode on disconnect means if I were to have God mode on, disconnect, and reconnect, God mode would be off. I like having it on still, so I do false. Auto AFK just means at a certain amount of time it says this player is AFK. Once again, you can do /who and it'll show you who's AFK, so people know, like, oh, I might as well not message this guy because he's AFK. So I keep this at -1, which means they don't get kicked when they're AFK because there's really no point. But I also do something where it doesn't freeze them, so you can push them into water and drown them. It doesn't disable item pickup, so you can drop items to them if you want. And once they interact with objects, move, AFK is undone, even if they use the /AFK command. Death message would mean, like, if I burn in lava, the little message that says Steam Eaters tried to swim in lava or something, or took a swim in lava, I'm not sure how it says. And then here's where, no matter what, you can't have God mode in blank world. set to no worlds, and I keep it like that. World teleport permissions, I completely don't even mess with that because I don't have people teleporting between worlds unless they're using a portal, which they make by themselves. Default stack size is -1, which you're like, this doesn't make sense. That just means that it's default to this, which is 64. So the max you can get is 64. Repair enchanted means when you use the repair sign, yes, it'll repair if enchanted. If you set this to false, that means if you have like a diamond sword with efficiency 2, and you go to a sign and repair it, it'll actually remove the enchantment, which sucks, so I don't do that. Unsafe enchantments. It's complicated. It kind of means like if you add the wrong enchantment when spawning items, so I leave that to false. A couple of these things are useless, so I'm going to leave this to false. This is actually useful. When you log in, you have 5 seconds before you can be attacked, which is great. Though, be careful because sometimes people, disconnect, reconnect, disconnect, reconnect. So they're like always attack. Being invulnerable. Here, if you use /fly or you're in creative mode, how fast you can go. I leave this at 0.8, that's default. Also, only my admins can fly, and also you can change that in-game by doing /speed. Maximum amount of mail that can be sent within a minute. I think 1,000 is way too big, but I'm pretty sure people can't type that fast, so I keep it like that. The temporary ban time means I can't ban someone for a blank amount of time. -1 seconds means I can temporarily ban you for infinite amount of time, or as many zeros as I can fit after the 9. Schedule's home. Update bed at time. Update bed at daytime. Means at daytime, after you sleep in a bed, your bed is updated. That doesn't matter because I make it so you can't have your bed set when you or your home set when you sleep. This is something where you can't do set a home in the nether and then do /home in the world and go to the nether. So for default players, you get 3 homes, which actually I didn't know until recently. If you're VIP or staff, you get 5 and then 10. So TP accept cancellation means say I do /TPA Steam Eater Trip 900, which means I want to TP to my friend. He has 120 seconds to do TP accept or TP deny before the request is canceled. You can set that to 0, which means infinite time, though sometimes that can be confusing. This is where it gets fun. Essentials Eco. This is, I know a lot of people use different plugins, but I just use Essentials Eco because it's all built in. Starting balance. So if you're a new player, how much money do you get? 1,000, 2,000, how much ever you want. And you just do 2,500 because that's a nice amount to start off with to get everything going. So command costs means you can set things like, oh, I will allow you to do /kit tools, but you have to pay this amount per use. And to do that, it looks like this: the command and how much it's going to cost. There, put that back because I don't do that because no one's allowed to use kit tools. Which you may think I'm like, oh, why would you do that? But when people are just using kit tools instead of finding their own, yeah, it doesn't work very well. So economy log, this is like if someone right-clicked a sell sign, you'd see in the console blank username, hit blank sign, giving blank, and it just ruins the console sometimes, especially if you're trying to look and figure stuff out. So non-essentials in help means when you do /help, commands from plugins besides essentials will show up. Hide permissions help is right here. Pretty self-explanatory. Any plugins that don't have permissions, just What? Did I set that to false again? No, I didn't. Okay. Sorry about that. So if a plugin doesn't have permissions, it's not going to show it. So Essentials chat, this is actually something nice you can use. The radius means how many blocks do you have to be close to a person to hear them unless they use shout or message or something. 0 means infinite. But you can set this to like, oh, you have to be within 200 blocks, which is nice because I know a lot of servers that like you get on and it's like text, 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 and it's just like a line of text going so fast you can't read it. Here, you're going to leave this blank, though sometimes you have to change this if you have something like factions or something else changing the format of the name. By the way, factions plugin, which I'll maybe do a tutorial on, it basically puts your faction name in front, and it actually screws everything up here, but I'll tell you that later. So protect. This is very, I don't know, I just set everything to false because I don't want to. False means this will happen. So lava flow is going to happen. There is going to be water flow, all that. Fire spread, yes, especially on this kind of server I have, which is factions. Griefing is a part of it. Lightning fire spread, I do false as well. Actually, no, I do true because only admins can have do /lightning. Enderman block damage, keep that there. Entity target just means that like if you bad mobs, you walk by them and they start following you. If you set this to true, they won't follow you. But I, once again, keep it to false. Here, it's just what what mobs are not going to spawn. So is a witch going to spawn? Yes. I know it says false, but it means yes. It means false. It's not going to block the spawning of blank. This is all about creepers, really. How much they explode. -1 is just depending on, where they are, what the item is they're exploding, and all that. We're almost done. So blocking drowning and blocking suffocation, I set that to false. PvP, you want to set true if it's going to be PvP, false if you want it to be peaceful. Should fall damage be disabled? Probably not. Should projectiles be disabled? No. Contact damage is yeah, self-explanatory. Disabling damage from cacti. Fire damage, lightning, wither. I keep all that to false because, especially with PvP servers, you usually die. Disable weather options I also set to false because as much as I hate storming and thunder and lightning, I do keep it because it's just part of the game. We can skip this because it's going to be under group manager how you change that. So with people with build permission, actually we will go over that. Can they use items? Yes. People with build permission, can they build? Of course. People without build permissions and they try building or something, they'll get a notification saying you can't build? Yes. So this is an alert that will go to throughout the server. I take this off. This is saying like if you were to place TNT, yes, there'd be an alert saying someone placed TNT at this place. I don't like doing that because then people are like, oh, that's where my house is or whatever, right? And I take all that off. But you can do that placement usage break in pistons. So if I wanted like, oh, TNT doesn't want to be pushed by pistons for traps, I could set that to false. Or I mean true. I would put TNT there. I would put 46. But I'm not going to because that's stupid. Okay, so when new players enter the server, what kind of text is going to greet them? It's going to say, welcome, Steam Eater, to the server. Spawn point newbies, keep that. It's just going to spawn you at default spawn. What are you going to spawn with? Kit tools. Keep this at high because you want them to spawn. Respawn at home, false. So that means if I do /set home blank and then I die, I won't spawn at that home. And you are done. No, seriously, you are done with configuration. I know this is long and painful, but hopefully you found this helpful. If you did, hit like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. This is Angelo.